Welcome to Honeybee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. I never thought I'd be the kind of man who'd feel like a stranger in his own home. When I married Claire 5 years ago, I believed we were equals, partners who loved and respected each other. I wasn't wealthy like her, but I was ambitious, hardworking, and I believed my effort and loyalty would be enough to hold us together. Claire came from money, real money. Her family owned a chain of luxury resorts, and she had always lived a life of excess. Designer clothes, exotic vacations, private dinners with celebrities. I didn't resent her for it. At first, I even admired how confidently she moved through that world. But somewhere along the way, her wealth became a weapon. It started small, teasing me for driving my old, reliable car, joking that I didn't get fine wine. I brushed it off. Then came the subtle comparisons. How her friends' husbands were buying vacation homes, upgrading their watches, flying first class. I was building my own business back then, pouring everything into it. Money was tight, but I told myself it was temporary. One day, I'd make her proud. That day never seemed to come. 2 weeks before her birthday, I overheard Claire talking to her best friend on the phone. "Honestly, I don't even know why he bothers," she said, her voice low but sharp. "He can't get me anything I want. He just sits there looking miserable while everyone else is having fun. I think this year, it'd be better if he just didn't come." I froze in the hallway, my chest tight. She was talking about me. That night, I asked her about it. "Claire, are you seriously telling people you don't want me at your birthday party?" She didn't even flinch. "Yes, I did. Don't act so shocked. It's my birthday, not yours. I don't need you sulking in the corner while my friends and I celebrate." Her words hit me like a punch. "I sulk? Claire, I'm your husband. I show up for you, even when I feel completely out of place." She rolled her eyes. "You don't understand, do you? It's embarrassing when everyone else shows up in designer suits, and you with the same jacket you've had since college. It's not just about money. It's about image. If you can't match my world, maybe stay out of it." I didn't sleep that night. For hours, I stared at the ceiling, replay her words over and over. She didn't want me there, not just at the party, but maybe not in her life. I had been working myself to bone, sacrificing everything. For what? To be an afterthought? The next morning, I made a decision. If she didn't want me there, then fine, I wouldn't be there, but I wouldn't just sit at home either. I started planning something for myself. I focused on my business like a man possessed. I put in 18-hour days, called every contact I had, and landed a deal I'd been chasing for months. The timing was perfect. It closed a day before her birthday. I withdrew some money, bought myself a new suit, nothing too flashy, but sharp enough to turn heads, and booked a table at the nicest restaurant in town. Not for her, for me. On the day of her birthday, she barely spoke to me. "Are you going to the party?" I asked as she was getting her hair done. "No," she said flatly. "You're not. Remember? You said you'd respect my wishes." I nodded. "You're right. I'm not coming. But I have plans." She raised an eyebrow. "Plans? With who?" "With myself," I said simply. For a second, I saw confusion flash across her face, maybe even a hint of worry, but she quickly masked it with a smirk. "Well, have fun, I guess." That night, I walked into that restaurant feeling like a completely different man. For the first time in years, I wasn't there to impress anyone. I wasn't trying to fit in. I was there because I deserved to feel like I mattered. If not to her, then at least to myself. As I sat there, sipping a glass of wine, I realized something painful but liberating. I had spent years trying to earn a place in a life that didn't value me. Maybe it was time to stop begging for space at a table that was never meant for me. Claire called me later that night, her voice sharp. "Where are you?" she demanded. "At dinner," I said calmly. "With who?" "With myself." "Happy birthday, Claire." There was a long pause. "You're supposed to be at home," she said, her tone unsteady now. "Waiting for me." "No," I said softly. "Not this year." To be continued. I woke up the next morning to a quiet house. No sound of Claire humming while making coffee. No clinking of her expensive heels on the marble floor. She hadn't come home. For a moment, my chest tightened. I imagined her laughing with her friends, maybe even staying the night somewhere else. But I stopped myself. No, I wasn't going to spiral into jealousy or suspicion. Instead, I got up, showered, and put on the suit I'd worn the night before. Not because I had anywhere to go, but because I wanted to start my day feeling like the man I had been at that restaurant. Confident, in control of my own life. When Claire finally walked in around 9 a.m., she looked tired. Her makeup was smudged, her hair a mess. "Oh," she said, startled when she saw me sitting at the breakfast table, calmly sipping coffee. "You're awake." "I've been awake for hours," I said evenly. "How was your party?" She hesitated. "It was fine. Everyone kept asking where you were. I told them you had work." I nodded slowly. "That was kind of you." She frowned, as if she didn't recognize this version of me. Calm, collected, not desperate for her approval. "Are you mad at me?" she asked. I looked her straight in the eye. I was. "But right now?" "No, I think I'm past that." Her lips parted, but she didn't speak. Over the next few days, I focused on my business more than ever. I started hitting the gym again, taking care of myself in ways I had neglected for years. I stopped waiting for her to include me in her plans and started making my own. The shift didn't go unnoticed. Claire began watching me more closely, asking where I was going, who I was meeting. At first, I gave her vague answers, but eventually, I stopped explaining at all. One night, about a week later, she finally broke. "Why are you acting like this?" she demanded. "Like what?" I asked. "Like you don't care anymore. You're always out, always busy, and when you are home, you barely talk to me." I put my phone down and faced her. "Do you remember what you said about your birthday?" She blinked. Yes. "You told me it would be better if I wasn't there. And you know what? You were right." I stayed away, and it made me realize something. I've been fighting for a place in your life for years, Claire. But maybe I was fighting for the wrong thing. Her expression softened. "What do you mean?" "I mean that I can't keep living like this, being treated like I'm not good enough because I don't come from money, because I don't fit into your perfect social circle. I can't keep chasing your approval, like a dog begging for scraps." Her face went pale. "I never meant," she began, but I cut her off. "Yes, you did." I said gently, not angry now, just tired. "You meant every word. And maybe you were right. Maybe I don't belong at those parties. But I do belong somewhere I'm respected. And if that's not here, then I'll find it somewhere else." That night, I packed a bag and left. Not because I hated her. Not because I wanted revenge. But because I needed to see who I was without her shadow over me. I rented a small apartment downtown, close to my office. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. For the first time in years, I had space to breathe. Claire called me every day at first, begging me to come home. Then the calls turned into texts, long, emotional paragraphs about how she missed me, how she realized she had taken me for granted. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I poured myself into my work, and within 3 months, my business hit its biggest milestone yet. Enough profit to pay myself a real salary, enough to prove that all those late nights had been worth it. The first time I saw Claire again was by accident. I was having lunch at a cafe near my office when she walked in. She looked different, not as polished, not as untouchable. "Hi," she said softly, almost shyly. "Hi." I replied, my tone neutral. "Can we talk?" she asked. I gestured to the seat across from me. She sat down and fidgeted with her hands. "I've been going to therapy," she said quietly. "I realized I was cruel to you. I let my insecurities turn into insults, and I made you feel small. I'm sorry." I studied her face, looking for signs of manipulation, but all I saw was sincerity and maybe fear. "I believe you," I said finally. "But believing you doesn't mean things go back to the way they were." Her eyes filled with tears. "I don't want things to go back to the way they were. I want to be better. I want to be the wife you deserve." I was silent for a long time. Finally, I said, "Then show me." not with parties or gifts. Show me by respecting me, by valuing me, even when I don't look like everyone else in your world." She nodded vigorously. "I will." It took months, but we slowly rebuilt, this time on my terms. I didn't try to fit into her world, and she stopped asking me to. Sometimes I joined her at events, sometimes I didn't. But when I did, I walked in with my head high, not as the poor husband trying to keep up, but as a man who knew his worth. Claire still loved her luxuries, but she stopped mocking me for not caring about them. And I, in turn, stopped resenting her for having them. We found a middle ground, one built on respect, not appearances. Looking back now, I realize that the night she told me not to come to her birthday was the best thing that could have happened. It broke me, but it also forced me to grow. I stopped living for her approval and started living for myself. And ironically, that's what saved us. I'm not the same man I was that night. Standing in the hallway, listening to my wife mock me to her friend. That man was desperate, insecure, afraid of losing her. The man I am now knows that love without respect is just pain dressed up in pretty words. Claire and I still have our struggles, but now we fight together, not against each other. And every year on her birthday, she looks at me and says, "Thank you for being here." And I smile because now I know I am,